How do I get myself to work out though? Because I'm very depressed and anxious. It's you just do it. There's not really any way to get yourself to do it. How do you get yourself to make your bed? You choose to do it. Maybe working out isn't where you're at yet. Maybe that's too hard for you right now. You got to consider wherever you're at that's where you're at right now. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's just your starting position. And let's say I used to be a personal trainer. If somebody walked into the gym and they could not even lift 1 pound, okay, that's where we got to start with half a pound. You can't lift that yet. That's okay. Where are we going to start? Okay, you might not be able to work out yet. Now look at something else that's easier that you're still not even doing. Do you get out of your bed every morning before 10 o'clock in the morning? Do you beat your alarm clock, or does your alarm clock beat you every day? Do you hit snooze 6, 7, 8 times every single morning? Yeah, you can't even beat your own alarm clock. How do you think you're going to go work out? You can't even beat your alarm clock. How do you think you're going to go work out? Tell me. You have to start where you're at. So if beating your alarm clock is the only thing you're going to do this week, that's what you're going to do. And that's okay to start there. You got to start somewhere. And after you beat your alarm clock, guess what? You're going to beat your bed next. Now you're going to make your bed every morning. Now you're going to wake up and you're going to make your bed. Because now you can beat your bed. And once you can beat your alarm clock and then you can beat your bed, now you might be able to beat your body. Now you might be able to beat something else. But right now you don't have the strength to beat anything else. You don't have the strength to go work out. You don't have the strength to go eat properly. You don't have the strength to do any of those things. And that's okay, but you got to start where you're at. And that's okay. And you got to understand that that's okay. Hey, Amelia. Humans are habitual. You need consistency, no strength required. Yeah, but your brain also needs to know that it can do something. Yeah, that's all it is. It's in the consistency of doing something. So then you can become somebody worth trusting. Like if you can't consistently get out of your own bed, if you can't consistently make your own bed, then you can't consistently do anything else. So you have to start with something easy, build that consistency so you can become somebody worth trusting, so you can become somebody worth committing to. Because that's the problem is every single time that you've told yourself that you're going to do something and then you don't do it, you break trust with yourself. You said, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this 30-day program. I'm going to do this diet. I'm going to do that. And then you failed it. And guess what you became? You became somebody that you can't trust. Every single time you became somebody that you could trust less and less and less. And if you can't trust somebody, can you commit to them? Right? If you had a friend who every single time that they said they were going to do something for you, they didn't do it, would you trust them? Would you commit to them? Absolutely not. So that's what you're doing to yourself. Every time I'm going to do this, and then you don't do it. I'm going to do that, then you don't do it. You're a hypocrite and you're a liar. And you can't trust yourself. You can't trust yourself. You can't commit to yourself. That's what the problem is. Okay, I'm going to go cry. Yeah, you don't need to. If you need to cry, cry. I cry once in a while. If you need to cry, cry. How big is your tool? You could have a real big hammer, but if you don't know how to swing it, you're not going to nail anything. Do you know what I'm saying? How did you learn to express yourself so eloquently? I've always had more of a proclivity towards words in English. I've always really enjoyed like games like Scrabble and Boggle. Words have always been very interesting to me. That said, it wasn't like, if you look back at my first YouTube videos, I've left my old YouTube videos up from when I first posted like 4 years ago, when I first started on my learning journey, when I first decided I wanted to become somebody else. When I first decided I wanted to become a different type of man than the man that I was being up until I was 26 years old. And really change my life towards integrity and my journey towards what I was trying to discover, masculinity and being a man to truly be, because I was really struggling at that time. But you can see the difference in the way that I can express myself, and that's all come down to practice and writing and practice and writing and practice and writing. Like, how do you think that I can have a conversation and think of the words as they come up in an eloquent sort of way to build a sentence if I can't build a sentence in the way that I write it, right? And so writing and writing in such a way, it's like that's how I would like it to be shared. If I was to share this thought on a public forum in front of thousands of people, how would I want my voice to sound? What words would I use? So I would write in such a way to try and use the best possible way that I can possibly say something. And I would write and I would write and I'd write about what I want to say and what I think about this or what I think about that, what I thought about this book, what I thought about this statement, what I would write. And as I became better at building sentences through writing, I also began to be able to speak them better as well. So you have to deconstruct that. If you're not a very good speaker, well, start with writing. You would be hard pressed to find somebody who's an eloquent speaker who's not also a fantastic writer. So if you don't write, you are literally giving away the keys to so much of your power. Do you write as if you're speaking to someone or just random thoughts? Both. Both. Often I'll be speaking to somebody else, like an audience, or I'll be speaking to myself, or I'll be speaking to God, or whoever I really feel like I want to be talking to in that moment. Journaling is so important. Journaling with purpose is so important. Journaling just in general, I don't think it's that. It's great. It's cool. But if you're not actually increasing you're not exercising. So the same thing in the gym. If you go in and you do your 10 minutes on the elliptical every single day, your body will never change. You will never be any more fit. You will never be any better. You will be really good at 10 minutes. So same thing with journaling. If you just talk about my day, how I'm feeling, and that's all you do every day, that's great. But you're not getting any better. You're not actually exercising your brain. You're not actually exercising your ability to write. You're not actually doing anything that's building strength. So go ahead, journal, but I say journal with purpose and intention as well. You don't trust journals anymore too. Your journals have been read by the people. Have a better hiding place and get a journal that has a lock on it. And you can also journal on if you have a computer or on your phone in your notes. There's other ways to go about that. You can even journal on your notes in your phone and put a lock on that note as well. So if you would like to, chalk it up to, other people have read my journal and that's why you don't write anymore, I would hope that you can find a way to get back into it. If it was something that was important to you, you will find a way. You don't need to live as a victim to those, and that sucks. My heart goes out to that because that would have torn me apart if certain people read some of the things that I've written about. That would be really heartbreaking and a huge betrayal. But I wouldn't allow that betrayal and that feeling that these people read what I've written before to stop me from moving forward and learning more. Levi, he acts like a boyfriend but claims we're just friends, long distance. Should I leave? If he's acting like a boyfriend and he says you're just friends, you take the words. Don't listen to the actions. Listen to the words. That happens a lot for girls. They're like, oh, the actions speak louder. Just because even if it's not long distance, even if he has you over all the time, it's like, oh, he's chilling with you, Netflix and chill, like 4 days a week. But he's telling you, I don't want a relationship. Stop investing your body trying to get him to invest in a relationship, trying to get him to commit to you. Stop trying to invest, hoping that one day he's going to commit. That's not how that's going to work. He's already told you, I don't want a relationship. We're just friends. If that's what he has said, that's going to be his alibi. He will never. He's just going to get what he wants. He's going to get his free gas up when he's in town. He's going to get laid, whatever. And then when it comes time to leave, he's going to be like, yeah, this was nothing. We were never anything. I told you I didn't want a relationship. I told you we were just friends. So words and actions have to be in alignment. If you guys don't want the same things, if you want the relationship to move forward and they don't, you're not on the same page. And so now you got to flip the page. Right? So if a person could get a full-time salary, like $25 an hour plus benefits for a part-time job that they can show up whenever they want, who would say no to that? And that's what a lot of you ladies are offering, guys. They can show up whenever they want and get the full girlfriend package for zero commitment and zero money down. What do you expect at that point? You're going to get a whole lot of really trash employees. And that's just bad business decisions. So treat yourself like a business. Treat yourself with respect. Only allow people to work at your business who want commitment if that's what you want. Do you believe when you have to write a pros and cons list for a guy, it's a sign to leave them? No, not necessarily. Maybe you just hadn't really evaluated much about what you want. And so now you've gotten into a relationship and, it's taken you some time to start to be like, oh, wow. There's some things here that I didn't set boundaries for. There's some things here that I don't really like and I'm not really sure about. Damn, maybe I've got to set some new boundaries. Maybe there's some communication that needs to be had. And maybe I need to reevaluate the roles in this relationship because I'm not really happy here. And I wasn't really clear about that before because maybe I didn't really know this or that about myself. Right? So it's not necessarily a bad thing. Right? It's not necessarily the end of the relationship, but it's more likely an indicator that you weren't really communicating throughout the relationship. And now you've kind of been pushed to an edge where it's like, now I need a pros and cons list because the communication and the boundaries and the intentions weren't set earlier on in the relationship. How did you get into doing this kind of thing, like these videos and educating people? Kind of like just by demand. It really started with sharing poetry for me. So sharing a part of my heart through poetry and some of the things that I wanted to say to the world about myself and what I was going through. And people just really connected to that and then started to ask me more questions and tell me about how that really touched them and how did I learn to talk like that or to write like that or and just being able to share my story with other people and allow them to share their story. You just find so much healing in that. And I'm like, wow, maybe I can use all of those experiences that caused a whole ton of pain in my life over the last 10 years. How can I use those and turn them into something that can maybe heal other people or help them get through what they're going through a little bit faster than me? That's my heart. That's my heart, man. I want what I'm looking for is I want proactivity, not just reactivity. I don't want people to have to go through as much pain to finally come to the place where they change the trajectory. And if you can really plant the right seeds, if you can plant the right thoughts, you're gonna hit your rock bottom. It's not gonna be as far down. You kind of have to hit your rock bottom, but it doesn't have to be so far down. And there doesn't have to be spikes and quicksand at the bottom. Maybe there's a trampoline at the bottom, and you hit the bottom, and you're like, wow, I remember what Levi said. I remember what this person said, and then that can boom, catapult you back up, and you don't need to be stuck in the bottom of your well for 5, 6, 7 years. Right? And that's what my heart is.